Today, your life changes completely. If even one person's life can change by just 1% through these methods, if it can be changed, I will have no more wishes. Hello, this is TNL. Following from the last video, today I will break down the law of attraction and its detailed execution methods for materializing imagination into reality. Even if this video turns out long, I will finish the breakdown series with this video. So far, we've covered the 4 basic methods of the law of attraction: speaking out loud, writing by hand, visualizing with imagination, and being thankful. In addition to these 4, I will also share some highly effective methods, including writing multiple goals in a notebook and reading them before and after sleep. The next method is speaking 1,000 times for 90 days. This is a method I also tried from this past spring to summer. As shown on the screen, I used an easy counter to speak 1,000 times each day. I did this for 90 days without missing a single day. This method is also quite difficult. From my experience, it's not much easier than writing 100 times for 100 days. Since you have to say 1,000 times, it takes a little over an hour if you don't break it up. Of course, once you get a bit more used to it, the time becomes shorter, but in general, it takes more time than writing 100 times for 100 days. Since it takes so long, it's really not easy to do all 1,000 at once without stopping. So, in my case, if the situation allowed, I would speak all 1,000 in one go. But on days when that wasn't possible, I would break it up into multiple sessions. It's important to understand why you're doing this method. There's a big difference between doing it because you heard it's good, and knowing why you're doing it, and understanding the effect it will have. Ultimately, the goal is to make this a habit and ingrain it in your subconscious mind. So why 90 days, you might ask? This number is not random. It's a scientifically and psychologically proven duration. You might have heard of the 21-day rule. This was first proposed by Dr. Maxwell Maltz, an American surgeon, in his 1960s book Psycho-Cybernetics. Dr. Maltz, a plastic surgeon, studied how people who lost limbs adapted psychologically, and based on his research, he coined the 21-day rule. This period of 21 days is the minimum time it takes for a thought to go through the brain's cortical area, responsible for doubt and fixed ideas, the limbic system, responsible for fear and anxiety, and the brainstem, which controls habits. Since then, numerous psychologists and medical professionals have refined the 21-day rule. In fact, a professor team from the University of London, led by Philippa Raleigh, argued that the human brain, when exposed to sufficient repetition, resists doing things it hasn't done before. This resistance occurs because the brain cells needed to store the memory haven't been created yet. They concluded that it takes at least 21 days for a new behavior to become habitual. The 21-day rule has been widely applied in psychological therapies and continues to this day. When conducting psychological healing programs, stages are often done in 3-week units. At this point, you might be wondering, 21 days? That's only 3 weeks, so why 90 days? The 21 days is for ingraining habits in our brain As I mentioned earlier, the reason for doing this is to ingrain it into your subconscious as a habit. It only takes 21 days to make a habit, but it takes 90 days or 3 months to ingrain that habit into your subconscious mind. In a 2009 issue of the European Journal of Social Psychology, researchers found that when a particular behavior is repeated at the same time every day, it takes an average of 12 weeks for the habit to be fully ingrained, meaning the action becomes so habitual that not doing it would feel more difficult. In other words, it takes about 3 months to truly internalize a new habit. That's why writing 100 times for 100 days wasn't random. It's not just about 90 days. 100 days was symbolic. I think it was set to 100 days for that reason. I remember watching a Bob Proctor lecture while taking a walk, where he said that to ingrain a desired outcome into your subconscious, you should say it 1,000 times for 90 days. That's when I first heard it. I've been practicing the law of attraction and this mindset for a long time, and I've personally experienced the effects. So even though I've done most of these methods, when I heard that I would have to say something 1,000 times for 90 days, I thought, can I really do this? But while walking, I realized, this is something that will change my life. It costs nothing, and it's not hard or complicated. It doesn't require physical effort either, so I can achieve my desired life with this. Not doing it would be a much greater loss, and I started right then and there during my walk. Next, we have being thankful as if you've already experienced the day when you wake up in the morning. Among the various methods, this is one of my favorites. It's like a cheat code. The moment you do this, you'll feel an instant shift in your mood, and it's amazing how quickly you can start your day with positive energy. And a day started like this almost always results in good things happening. I say to myself, today is really the best day ever. Thank you. It's nice to be more specific too, like saying, today was really great because of this or that. Although your body is just waking up in the morning, your thoughts and feelings are already sending out the signal for the day, preparing you with hints for what's to come. One of my subscribers came up with a very creative name for this method, calling it prepaid gratitude. I was really impressed by that idea, because when we want something, we usually pay up front before receiving it, right? But why don't we think to do the same with gratitude for the results we want? Let me break it down clearly. We want the results, so we pay gratitude up front and then receive the results. The next method is high-fiving yourself. Who do you high-five? You high-five someone you've never done so with before. Yourself. This isn't something I do every day, but sometimes I feel the urge to do it. On those days, I usually do it in front of the bathroom mirror, giving a high five to my reflection. At first you might think this is a bit awkward, but I can tell you, the first time I did this, the feeling was unforgettable. Although everyone may feel different, for me, when I gave a high five to my reflection in the mirror, I felt a tingling sensation at the back of my head, almost like electricity. So why do we do this? What effect does it have? Usually high fives are done with other people, and you do it to celebrate something, to share positive energy, or to encourage someone. When you high-five someone, your face is usually bright and happy. You're not likely to high-five someone with a sad or gloomy face. And not only do your facial expressions change, but when you high-five someone, your mood improves. Exactly. You're giving that same positive energy to yourself. Until now, you probably never celebrated or encouraged yourself. This is your chance to try it. I recommend doing this in the bathroom when you're alone, because it can feel a bit awkward if someone else is around. It only takes about 30 seconds. Try this method and let me know your feedback in the comments. It's simple but very effective. Next, try a small manifestation first. When you use the law of attraction, speaking, writing, or visualizing, you're usually working on medium to long-term goals. That's perfectly fine, but think about the little things. Imagine seeing something simple. For example, a parking space always being hard to find, but today, when you arrive, there's a spot open just for you. Imagine this happening, and then someone you know congratulates you over a message. Try visualizing these small, simple scenes. This method was inspired by Neville Goddard. In his lectures, Neville suggested that for 7 days, you should imagine climbing a ladder just before you sleep. After a week, he invited his listeners to come back and share what had happened. The result? Over half of the attendees had actually seen or even climbed a ladder in real life. For example, one young man had to visit his parents' house, and when he arrived, his father was on a ladder fixing something. At that moment, the young man remembered the ladder he had imagined just days before. He thought, wait, I'm actually climbing a ladder right now. You should try imagining these small, simple things and then see them manifest in your life. This will give you more confidence in the law of attraction and boost your belief. Lastly, we have making your bed when you wake up. This simple action became a major topic in the US after Admiral William McRaven's graduation speech at the University of Texas. In his speech, McRaven said, "If you want to change your life, start by making your bed." I knew about this method already, but I didn't think much of it at first. I thought, well, if I sleep on the floor, I'll need to make my bed. But if I sleep in a bed, is it really necessary? After all, I'll be getting back into bed later, so why go through the trouble of making it? But when I tried doing this while practicing the prepaid gratitude method, I realized that making my bed had a powerful impact on my day. Starting the day with positive energy really gives us tremendous strength. And when I come home at night, seeing a neat and organized bed reminds me that I've made a good start to my day. Even if you feel like you didn't do anything significant,